Hello, and are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? Yes, it's your favourite Saturday crew back together again, not outside this week. My name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined as ever with Gareth Morgan. But before we get started, links to all of today's stories are in the description below. And make sure to subscribe to the video and like the video and comment below what you think of everything. Gareth,
yes.
What have you got for us today?
I have got, this first piece of news, it's something you're probably all very much aware of at this point. Jaxson Ryker went on Twitter and it looked like he was trying to further his own character and whatever weird storylines going on with the Forgotten Sons right now. It looked like he was trying to do that on Twitter. It didn't go down very well. A couple of people have called him out instantly over social media. But then now there are a few reports that backstage the tensions are extremely high regarding this situation. This is all according to the Wrestling Observer. And Meltzer said that sources have told him that the locker room is fuming over what's gone on with Ryker. Just for the ill time of what he's done and everything else. And even his own, his tag partners in the Forgotten Sons seem to have distanced himself from what he said. That's Steve Cutler, obviously, and Wesley Blake. They both, on their social medias, they've said, okay, that's not how we feel about it as well. So it's all become a bit of an ugly mess, really, the entire thing regarding this. But then Meltzer also mentioned that most within WWE have decided to stay quiet in terms of going on social media to lambast Ryker. But it is very much a thing right now backstage that he is pretty much public enemy number one. It's not great for morale right now because obviously we know, I think that there's been mental health advisors backstage trying to help people obviously going through this time right now because it is such a unprecedented, insane situation and people are dealing with it. Some people are dealing with it, some people find it quite difficult, but I think this just hasn't helped things and I don't know, it puts Ryker in a weird situation that he's put himself in, but then it puts all those people backstage that are dealing with the current situation and obviously the movement right now that's happening. It's just another WWE mess, really, isn't it? It's and I'm sure we're going to find out more information in the coming days about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Tensions are obviously high at the minute with everything that's going on, and just another spanner thrown in the works to just divide the backstage locker room. And it wasn't the best. It was terrible timing. No. It was really badly thought out comments. And yeah, I mean, even when your own tag teams start distancing themselves from you, it's not a good look, really, is it?
It's really not. But again, it's that thing, you've got to own what you post on social media. I mean, it's there. It's a great outlet to speak to your fans and talk to people and get your message out there. But if your message is something that's massively going to be controversial and not a lot of people are going to agree with it, you've got to own it. You've got to take responsibility for that. And this is the situation he's in right now. So we'll see what happens going forward with it.
Yep, we'll have to see what they do with that. But moving on, I guess, onto SmackDown was last night. And we have ourselves some new champions. Bayley and Sasha Banks won the women's SmackDown, the women's tag team championships from Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, which is a heck of a development, I think, for them. I think this is a great way of getting the belts onto Sasha and Bayley and having a little bit of a distraction maybe from the Sasha Bayley breakup angle that is obviously still going on. But this is a great way of letting them add time to it, get it to the point where when the breakup does finally happen, it's gonna be hopefully in front of actual crowds and gives them something to do along the way.
I was very worried that we were going to see something similar to what happened with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Do you know what I mean? When they won the belts and everyone's like, oh, they've won the belts so they can't fall out, and then bang, big breakup. You know what? It just would have been wasted, like, in my opinion, probably in your opinion as well, from what we've said over the last couple of weeks. So this is awesome. I love this. As soon as they started lifting the belts around and Bayley was just like showing them in Michael Cole's face, I was like, yes. Weeks and weeks now of just these parading around with the belts, and Sasha's looking at one. Sasha's got that thing now, obviously, because it was the week 2 weeks ago when Alexa Bliss was saying, oh, we're all champions apart from you. So now she's got that belt. She's been suppressed a little bit, but there still could be that thing of I've only got one belt, you've got two belts, and it's just little sprinkles.
Still a little bit of jealousy there. It's still not the belt that she wants. Yeah. But yeah, they can play off this for ages now. It extends that storyline no end, which is absolutely great. They did a great thing after SmackDown went off the air. They were doing a photo shoot with the belts backstage, and they did a whole bit where they were like crying on the floor with the belts, which is great throwback to what everyone was saying they were doing before WrestleMania. All good heel stuff. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing where this storyline goes, and I think this is a great way of extending it. What else happened on SmackDown? Braun Strowman got bullied by The Miz and John Morrison. They were pranking him and broke his car and gunged him. It's a whole thing. Jeff Hardy said that last week, obviously, he was clearing up what happened. He got out of his car, and then the next thing you knew, he was knocked out and he was in a bush covered in alcohol. Didn't know what was going on. Got to the police station, went through all the tests, obviously he was sober, and then he found out that multiple eyewitnesses had said that a man with bright ginger hair and a bright ginger beard was seen fleeing the scene. And then later on in SmackDown, he attacked Sheamus because Sheamus obviously has not been arrested, even though Jeff Hardy was arrested for this last week. It's a stupid storyline.
It is, and I don't know. I mean, it was quite heartfelt when he came out and did his little promo at the start, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if that's just a contrived thing because everyone in the crowd just seems to be giving the reactions WWE exactly once. But it felt like, okay, this could lead to something. Then as Sheamus came out, I was just a bit like, well, yeah, like what you said. I was like, well, surely now the police should be coming to take you away, but they won't do that because he's got a deadly brogue kick and he's too dangerous to try and arrest. That's exactly what happens.
They also said that Elias has broken ribs and something else, I can't remember what he said, and he could be out for up to 2 months, I think they said.
Yeah, I saw that.
Maybe they've just written Elias off storylines for a while. I don't quite know what's going on behind the scenes there. Whether they just think the Elias character doesn't work as well with crowds, maybe, I'm not sure, but looks like that's the last we're going to be seeing of Elias for a while.
That's a shame, because, yeah, I felt like it was definitely a dark horse in this Intercontinental title tournament, but there was weirdly, and I can't believe I'm saying this, there was something in that thing he was doing with Baron Corbin. There was a weird, I felt like I would have liked to, I know we should have had the blow-off at WrestleMania and then it just lingered a little bit afterwards, but I would have liked a nice, clean ending to that, whereas I feel like it's not, it's just been a bit messy, and yeah, do more with Elias, he's great.
Yeah. What's next?
Next up, we have got Leo Rush has spoken about a few incidents that went on, and I believe it was towards the back end of 2018. He said this in an email that he apparently sent on to WWE officials, and he's put this on his Instagram. It's a big, long email, so I'll try and pick out a few of the points that he mentions. But this seems to coincide with a lot of the backstage heat that he was reportedly getting around the start of 2019 towards WrestleMania, because he went missing obviously after WrestleMania 35. That's something we all remember. So this seems to tie into that, or at least it could have been the seeds for that. So when he was on this European tour, he doesn't mention any names, any specific names. Obviously, he's just trying to protect people, and just it's more his side of the story, not to throw anyone else under the bus per se. But he said that somebody said to him a gesture of respect towards. A gesture of respect from new wrestlers towards the people who obviously been more experienced, the older guys, was always to offer to buy them beers and drinks. So like offer to buy all their drinks when they're on a tour and like when they're in the hotel. And also they were expected to carry the bags of the older people as well. So that's something we've heard a few times over the years. People saying, oh, the younger ones, it's earning your dues. Like you see it in football as well. It's cleaning the boots and the rest of it when you're a youngster. It seems to be something that is done to ground, let's say, the younger people who've just come into the organisation. But Rush actually went on and said that it started to progress more and more as this tour went on. So that same person who was saying you should be doing this, you should be getting the beers, you should be carrying the bags, said, well, now that you're not doing this and you're refusing to, like, outright refusing to do it, it's dragging your name through the mud a little bit, and people are starting to say a few negative things about you. So it's just planting that seed in his head of, oh, if you don't do what's expected of you in the WWE, the traditional way of doing things, you're going to be blacklisted. And it's one of those things where he said that he slowly felt it was progressing week after week. And then I think he literally said 20 minutes before one of the live events that they were doing in Bologna, that wrestler again came over to him and said that, he said this in Guerrilla, he said that people are still talking negatively about you, and they've even said that your fiancé has been entering the female locker room. Then Rush said this later on, he said that she outright didn't do that. He's got witnesses that showed that they were, I don't know if this is because he felt intimidated by the other people in the locker room at the time, but he said he had witnesses from WWE security saying that they were waiting in the stands pre-show for 4 hours instead of going into the locker room. So again, it's that divide, not feeling comfortable being around your own peers, which again is that thing of at this time a lot of people are saying, oh, he's refusing to stick around with people and he doesn't want to be a part of the group. From the sounds of things, he felt intimidated and he didn't want to be around the group because of that. So he pretty much sums up in that entire email that he just felt as a young African-American male, he felt it was insensitive for people to say you should be carrying our bags, you should be like buying us beers and doing all the rest of it. He said that it didn't feel right with him. And like we said, that this is something that has happened in the past with a lot of young stars, at least, throughout their careers. But particularly Rush felt like he was being targeted by this. So I think in light of the current situation, what is going on, this is Rush telling his story. He feels obliged that he has to do this to just flag it up and empower himself and empower others just by explaining what went down in WWE at this time. And in a way, it's just pulling back the curtain, really, because when this was happening, a lot of us were quite confused because Rush is one of the most talented young stars that we've seen in WWE for quite some time, and it just didn't make sense that how or why he was rubbing people the wrong way, but it just appears that he was trying to stick up for himself and just push back against traditions that he didn't agree with. So I think it's a really revealing email, really.
Yeah, totally. He goes on to say in there as well that like when it's part of his job role, he has like no problem like chipping in and doing whatever it is that's asked for him. Like when he was in NXT and they always have to build the ring beforehand, before the shows, like during that, like he'd build the ring, like he'd get in there and he'd do it. So it wasn't like this was something that like he felt was below him or something like that. So this was like a personal thing that he felt is wrong. And obviously, and he brought it up to WWE higher ups, and then like apparently nothing obviously came of it. So it's a thing of him voicing his opinion in. You can read the entire email on his Instagram. He's voicing his own opinion. He's doing it in a like eloquent like way. He's putting all his points across, and he's asking higher ups for an opportunity to speak to them about it. And I think that's where this all falls down, because he obviously didn't get that. Like there was rumors for a long time about Leo Rush on the main roster, about like him sort of not gelling with the roster and things like this. And it seems like at least he's got his own opinion out there.
Yeah.
Like his side of the story, like just out there, like with proof, like here it is. This is what was going on. Like everything else, leave up to rumors, but it's like just get it out there and let people know.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's really important to hammer home the fact that he said that he didn't feel contractually obliged to carry people's bags, whereas when somebody said to him, okay, you have to do this because this is what everyone's doing, like in terms of putting the ring together and stuff like that, he'd do it. He was quite open to doing it, but whereas this, it just felt unfair in his eyes, which it's hard to argue, really. So
fair enough. These, like, I guess, antiquated, you call them hazing, but really, is it hazing? It's just bullying, isn't it? It's getting into the new guys. And good on him for standing up for himself in that position, which must have also been pretty scary in itself, because like brand new roster, like you're on sort of the lowest rung of the roster, like having the courage to stand up for yourself. Good on him. So yeah, let's move on. The FTR have been announcing some details about their AEW contract. They were first on an Instagram Live account on Dax Harwood's Instagram Live, where they kind of pointed out that they were on a bit of a handshake deal and they can do indie dates while they're at AEW. But then they went on further on Jim Cornette's podcast, and I've got a little quote. I'm just going to read it out. So he says, "So we're negotiating still. We have a short-term, almost handshake deal because they want to get this thing done finally. So we're not under any long-term obligation to anybody." So it looks like all of this stuff that's going on in AEW at the moment is just on a handshake deal because they felt like doing this angle, which is amazing that they haven't actually managed to lock this down yet. Whether this means that FTR aren't going to stick around in AEW for a long time, or whether they're just waiting until things open up a little bit more so they have a bit more options to themselves, let's say that, which, to be fair, is probably the most smart way of doing this in terms of getting the best deal for yourself. But just interesting that they haven't officially signed with AEW, working date to date, on a handshake deal, just because they want to do this storyline.
I think it's really a good a good way of packaging how different things are in AEW compared to other companies. And I think a lot of stars on the outside looking in will look at that and just go, wow, that's awesome that AEW have the confidence in the performers that they're approaching and the faith in them to go, okay, we don't need to sign you down to a 5-year deal just for you to appear on our show. If you just want to come in, add a bit of star power to our show, see what we're all about, see if it's for you. If it isn't for you, there you go, you can do your own thing. But if anything, it feels like a trial period, which I think is quite a wise thing, because it's not like they're going to screw them out of loads of money within a couple of months and go, right, we've got our fix and we're in the way. Like, there's no way of doing that if you're only there for a short period of time. But it's a good opportunity now for FTR to go in there, have a couple of matches and go, right, is this what we want? Yeah, no. If not, we'll go to New Japan. If it is, yeah, let's bunker down in AEW and see what it's like.
Yeah, totally. I think they're obviously after that big dream match of FTR versus the Young Bucks, because of course they are. Yeah. Why wouldn't they? But in the Jim Cornette podcast as well, they also brought up wanting to work Anderson and Gallows properly, which is maybe an interesting sign that they're also looking out to New Japan to maybe have a bit of a run there as well. But whether they can work out something like Moxley and Jericho have, where they can work both places on sort of limited runs or whatever it is over in New Japan. I would be very interested to see FTR in New Japan as well as AEW. Yeah. I think the opportunity's there for some incredible matches. And I wouldn't like to see them close the New Japan door before they have to.
I think it's realistic. I think it's realistic, to be honest. I think they seem like one of the teams that can have enough clout to go, yeah, if we're going to sign for you, we want this. Like, same with, I think, Matt Hardy as well. Is he got a similar contract? They're big enough names and draws for it to be worth it. They're just going to go, okay, if that means we've got you exclusively to a certain degree, yeah, you can have that little play
exclusively
over there.
In America, fine, but let them do New Japan, I think, yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, I'm not sure how to tie this one in because I don't think FTR are going to appear on a Netflix show anytime soon, so I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to take a shot. Bray Wyatt apparently wants a role in The Witcher. So, I don't know if you've seen The Witcher. I've watched the series, I quite liked it. I've never played the games or anything like that, so don't shoot. Okay, I just watched the show, it's quite good. But Bray Wyatt apparently wants to play a character called Zoltan. Again, never played the games, not too sure who Zoltan is, so if you do know and you want to inform us in the comment section, feel free. But he put his head on top of Zoltan, and to be honest, he looks the part. He's got his big long beard and dreaded locks and everything else. And he posted on Twitter, he put, "Dear Witcher Netflix, if you need someone to play this role specifically, I know a guy who could pull it off. P.S. It's me, quite literally." And then he put, "P.P.S. You should know that I'm far more handsome now. Okay, bye, love you." So it was, yeah, typical Bray Wyatt, just insanity and madness spewing out of him. But I don't know. I mean, if you don't ask, you don't get, to be honest. And a lot of
I was just gonna say that exact same thing. Why not? Put it out there. Yeah. You're never gonna get anything if you don't try.
I mean, I think Bray as a character anyway in wrestling is he's one of the most cinematic characters out there. And it is surprising at this point that he hasn't been courted to be in shows like Vikings and all these, like, I don't know, shows where he looks like a warrior. Do you know what I mean? Some kind of like demonic warrior. He suits the part.
And he's obviously got the acting chops on him as well with the stuff he's been doing with this new character. And his old character, to be fair. He was brilliant at this stuff. I
think there's a serious, like, movie, TV career, whatever he wanted. I think if he really opened his mind up to it, my goodness, that guy could smash it. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed to see him in Witcher Season 2.
Hopefully. And yeah, that's it. That is today's news. We will be back for a SmackDown review podcast at some point in the afternoon. Obviously, Ups and Downs is coming as well. And there's going to be another news in the afternoon because there's loads more things to talk about. But for now, I have been Phil My Chambers. I've been Phil Chambers. And you can follow me at Phil My Chambers. And I'm Gareth. Gareth, you carry on.
I've been Gmorgan04, and you can find me at Gmorgan04, and I am Gareth Morgan, so yeah.
And you can follow all of us at WhatCulture, at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and comment down below what you thought of all of today's stories. But most importantly, go and have yourselves a bloody good day.
Or go for a swim, because it's raining. Go swimming.